Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, all you beautiful and handsome people, you. Welcome to Pleasure My Libido, and I am your hostess, Aphrodity. And today, I'm going to give you a little tip, just in case. This is a little vanishing trick. So if you want to know how to vanish without a trace, then you are in the right place. And I'm going to do that. This might be illegal. So, on the hush hush. If anybody knows what a skip tracer is, then you know that what I'm about to tell you is not bullshit. So let's begin this crazy journey of ours today. Hi, Lou Rock. Thank you for joining me. Nice to see you. Or know that you're there. Okay. I can't really explain what a skip tracer is, but all I can say is this. They are the guys that trace you down. They are the manhunters out there. And I'm going to tell you how to outsmart them. No? See? Well, if you look up skip tracers, you'll find that these guys are the guys that go look for other people that go missing or vanished. Like big hit bosses. So, I'm going to give you some advice. Don't ask me where and how I know this. But I'm going to tell you how to vanish without a trace. So, the first step of your disappearing act is misinformation. You took what was out there on you and hid it from view. Now, you're going to make finding you even more difficult by creating a bunch of bogus trails for your pursuer to follow. You'll do this with two goals in mind. Keep your hunter busy searching for you in the wrong place, and make the file on you as thick, frustrating, and expensive to detangle as possible. Always make sure that you get those, big, huge files that absolutely have no relevance of you, But sometimes, yes, a skip tracer is somebody you don't want to bump into because they mean fucking business. These skip tracers, they find targets with you wouldn't believe. They would hunt these people down that were, vanished or missing, and they'd find them. So when people pick up and disappear, one common and crucial mistake they make is that they do not attempt to keep their hunters busy. If you just leave one trail, however hard you've tried to cover it, you allow your pursuer the opportunity to search it thoroughly. Don't give him that luxury. Skip tracers are some of the, you wouldn't believe, some of the quickest and most imaginative people you'll meet. And if you're not careful, they'll be right on your trail. They'll probably find you. Therefore, it is very important that you do some disinformation. Think of it as con artistry in the name of self-defense. Like any good con, it consists of 3 parts: hook, line, and sinker. Doesn't it sound interesting? Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Lou Rock. That is so nice. Lou Rock just sent me a little post. That is so nice. I'm so glad that somebody appreciates me. Yep, like fishing, Lou Rock. It's called the hook. Is a piece of information you create on purpose for a hunter to find. It looks real and will excite a skip tracer when he finds it. Perhaps you'll express interest in a home loan or an apartment rental or a credit card, causing someone to run an inquiry on your credit report. Perhaps you'll make calls from a phone line you know your pursuer will access. Hooks are a great tool for victims of stalking and abuse. Here's an example. I knew this one lady named Vera, whose husband, the father of her child, had beaten and threatened to kill her. He was graduating from a 3-year stint in the Grey Bar Motel, and even from prison he had attempted to terrorize her by sending her services for an apartment she visited, even though she was not moving in, nor would she be there to activate the service. We assumed that the jailbird would hire a skip tracer or private investigator to help him find an apartment number. If a professional were on Vera's trail, he would locate an incomplete order for telephone service at her new address, possibly a complete order. If a new tenant moved into the apartment, he'd be confused. Now, did Vera not take the apartment, or did she move in with a roommate? And he'd have to go there to investigate, costing the jailbird more money and time. The telephone company from which Vera applied for phone service asked her for employment information and a contact phone number. So this large company was contacted that was in the area that used to be her employment. Then this jailbird contacted the phone company, but at another location in a different city, and that X and his hired goon would think she had transferred locations, and yet another dead-end search would begin. See, Team Jailbird could pretext and skip trace all over, but they were never, ever nearing what they could find. So, realistically, if you would just set up a hook, like phoning like those major like power companies or a phone company and applying for a service at a location that you are not going to be moving into is called a hook. You don't want to hook up a service in your name at a new address if you're trying to hide from people, because all that these skip tracers and anybody with a brain would search power companies, phone companies, anything, cable companies, because you need a phone service, you need TV, correct? And you need to turn on power or water. So that is your hook. Hook number one is hook up a service at a bogus location and make sure that you are not near this location at any point for any reason, no matter what. Because that's where they're going to look first. And the good thing about it, you're not going to be there. Now, when you do vanish, also keep in mind, do not use your credit cards. Do not. For whatever reason. If you're going to be stupid, that's going to get you caught. You need to learn how to use cash and to budget it. You're vanishing, remember? You do not want to be found. So, do not use your credit cards. Do not, for any reason. Now, here's some more advice. So when they didn't find this Vera, perhaps they tried the phone company, the cable company, the local grocery stores. Each of these searches were going to cost money, racking up an investigative bill in the hundreds, if not the thousands. And each would take time. Now, I just told you two really good examples of how to vanish, but also your employment. Expect not to be picking up your last check, because your last check has to either be mailed, or you have to pick it up, correct? Some companies might do direct deposit, but remember, when you vanish, you cannot use your credit cards or your bank card, because skip tracers will go through the banks to locate the last time you made a transaction, and it will say exactly where, when, what time, and you know what? Then it's pointless, right? You do not even want to use your bank card. Cash. Keep that in mind. When you vanish, you use cash. Think of it like being a con. When they're on the run, do you think that they're going to be using stolen credit cards or take a stolen vehicle? Probably not, because they're all traceable. So, with that in mind, I'm not saying that everybody has to vanish, but just in case, if you're wanting to leave an abusive relationship, or if you're afraid of somebody, or a stalker even, or, whoever. Point is, if you think you need to vanish, then you are in the right place, my friend. So the sinker about this is, before Vera hit the road to her new undisclosed location, she opened up a small checking account at a random bank. She called this bank from her old phone and her mother's, along with a few other banks for good measure. Then she asked for a debit card. And guess what? She got one. But that was the sinker. A clue so wild that it would take a private investigator years to get her head or his head around it. If Team Jailbird managed to acquire either set of phone records, they'd see bank phone numbers and think they'd hit the start of Vera's money trail. Perhaps the private investigator would call the banks and make the very illegal move of pretending to be Vera. She'd find an active account at one of the places she called and think, bingo, we've got her now. But then she'd extract withdrawal records and see that the following, I'll read you some examples, and listen carefully, okay? So these are ATM withdrawals. So ATM $20, St. Louis. ATM $30, Chicago. ATM $10, Las Vegas. ATM $20, Toronto. ATM $40, Montreal. And ATM $10, Seattle. She'd think, my God, this woman is on the move. She might even do some preliminary investigating in these cities, wasting even more time and money. Even if the jailbird had limited resources, the PI might be so frustrated at this point that they give up. If your life is in danger, there's not much to enjoy about disappearing, but it's hard not to feel satisfied when a plan like this works. Well, if you're wondering, Vera is still safe today, and you know what? We enjoy giving her jailbird the finger, and she has vanished and without a trace. So no matter how much stress you're under as you try to disappear, I hope you can step back and appreciate your creative finesse as you confuse the hell out of your pursuer. The truth is, disinformation can be fun. See, leaving false trails, leaving trails that your pursuer will think are scores, and they have to investigate each and every one. So before you leave, make sure you have tons and tons of false information. That way, when they start searching, they'll really never find anything on you. And this is a true story. This is not bullshit, and I'll probably get in trouble from somebody somewhere. Because yes, a skip tracer is a real person, and they are the people that search for you, and they will find you. But if you follow just these simple steps that I am telling you, even they will have a hard time, if not find you at all. So, hopefully that information helps some of you out there. So the more trails you leave, just think, the more time that it will take for anybody to actually find out where you are. And in the beginning, like I said the first time, you do not want to be using any type of card. No bank card, no Visa, no MasterCard, no nothing. Not even a points card, fuck all. Because once you swipe that, it tells everybody exactly where you are, what time you were there, and you don't want that. See, you want to stay vanished. So, hopefully, I have made a difference in somebody's miserable life today. Hopefully I can bring somebody pleasure in knowing that they can vanish and not have to worry about anything. It's like the cat and mouse game. But see, you're not the mouse. You're the cat, kind of. You're trying to avoid getting caught. But the pursuer is also a mouse because they are searching for you high and low on a manhunt that, that they'll never find. So the more they search and the more everything costs money. Nowadays, it costs money to do anything. Even to an inquiry, it's like, $4.99 on the phone for like a minute or something. Some places it's even more. To go to a library to do a search on somebody, I think to do like a private search, that costs like $20 or something, like in the courthouse or whatever. So, everything costs money. And that's what you want. You want them, whoever's pursuing you, to spend as much money and time in bullshit places and the further away you can get. But just keep in mind, do not use your plastic cards for anything. Don't even write a check. You need cash on your travels and your journeys, and that's what you're going to do. Well, New Rock, I just gave you some awesome advice on how to disappear. Well, thank you, sir. I'm glad that I could help you, New Rock. You have a great night too, sir. That was my friend Lou Rock. He follows my podcasts. He's a great person. He's had some downfalls in his past with exes, just like myself. And he's a good friend. Keeps me company. Also, it might be even easier. This is a good advice. This might be even easier. So, before you vanish and whatever, but don't do it in one visit. Go to your bank and clean out your account, but do this in over a week. So it takes you a week to do it all. Go different times, different amounts. And if the bank tells you, why are you doing this? Tell them, well, you know what? I'm renovating. That's all you got to tell them, because the renovations cost big money. So that's what you can say. Renovations cost lots of money, and that's what you're doing. You don't need to tell anybody that you're disappearing, because then those people who are looking for you are going to ask these people that you told that you're vanishing. They're going to tell the pursuer that you vanished. And if they say that, then it sets off bells and everything bad happens and you're found. That's why you don't tell anybody anything, no matter what. You cut up your cards after you clean your account out, and then you disappear. But before you do that, make sure you make your calls to bogus places. But make sure you call many from, scatter them around. Scatter them far and wide, but nowhere in the direction that you're going. Always behind you. Never in their direction. So if you're going east, don't phone these companies that are in the east. Phone them opposite that. Phone them in the west. Make sure that whoever's looking for you is going the opposite way. And you want to keep them there for a while. So phone a whole bunch of companies, hooking up bogus things, water, power, phone, cable, whatever. Get even the newspaper delivered. And yeah, set everybody off. And it makes a lot of, people pissed off. And eventually, money runs out and people stop looking. Okay, because if these skip tracers can't be paid, and they cost quite a bit of money, they're not going to keep searching for somebody. Not for anybody. Unless you had big money and they would continue looking. But usually, the normal person couldn't afford too many months with a skip tracer. And even that's pretty pushing it. So, how about that for some advice, people? I just wanted to share with you everything that I knew on vanishing. And I hope my advice helps, and I hope it brings pleasure to those who want to vanish. Be like Houdini and poof, be gone in an instant. But please also keep in mind, don't take your cell phone. Wherever you are, smash it. Smash it before you even leave. Do not take your cell phone. And when you do hook one up, please don't put it in your name. Like, go to a pawn shop if you have to. You know what I mean? Buy a secondhand phone, whatever. Do not go to a company like TELUS or AT&T or Mobile, whatever, and use your name with your ID, because you're going to be found. Remember that. When you even go for a job interview, do not give your name. Try not to. If I know banks, you have to show ID and whatever else. But try not to use your bank card, okay? Because that's what gets you found. You can open a bank account with your ID and whatever else, but go into the bank to withdraw money. No matter what you do for the next year, if you don't, if the things are calmed down and nobody's looking for you and whatever, then is only when you can start using a bank card again. But until then, do not go to the bank and pull out money. For a job, same thing. Go to get everything mailed to you at your new address. Do not do direct deposits, because those can be traced, okay? Go to your bank to cash a check. It's not that hard. It's a lot easier than to get found. Anything electronically is always traced. There's numbers, there's ID numbers, whatever. You don't want any of that, see? You want to stay vanished and you want to not be found. Well, that's how. And I know a lot of you are thinking, like, I'm fucked right up and this is all bullshit. It's not. If you look up Skip Tracer, look it up right now and see what that shows you. Now, when you're looking this up, keep in mind, Skip Tracer, he's the best of the best. He does what he does because he's good at it. He's really fucking good. Or else he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. And they cost money. unless you're, nobody important, well, whoever's looking for you will eventually run out of money, and they can't look for you forever. So, you'll be safe, you'll be, you can start over, your life will begin. And that's the best thing. That's the best fucking thing ever. You don't have to worry anymore. But do keep in mind this. If you are trying to, outrun the IRS, or eventually you do have to go to work to support yourself, and they will find you. Those guys are pretty hard to disappear from. Because when you vanish, you need to work. And when you work, you have to give your information to get paid. So, And you don't want to be doing anything illegal by forging a name, because that will get you sent to jail. And my friend, you don't want to go there. That is not where good people should be. So don't say that, oh, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. What's to go to jail? It's not really fucking great. I'm going to tell you a secret. I went to jail for 3 years for something that was so stupid that I regret every moment of it. I trusted somebody and they let me down really, really bad. And I took the fall. It was my first time. I never did anything ever. I had plans for my future, and now I can't travel. I cannot leave Canada because of this stupid thing. And no, it's not drugs or violence or something like that. I can't really say, but I didn't harm anybody. But yeah, I did 3 years, and that was the worst time ever. I do regret it, and I am very sorry that I did. I did even such a stupid thing, but I did. I was following love, and it led me to hell. It was the worst time of my life. And yeah. But listen to me. Vanishing takes a lot of work. Vanishing, you have to learn to shut up and not say anything to anybody. You're going to have to practice being secretive to yourself. You can't even tell your best friend or your mom or your dad or your sisters, your brothers. You can't tell anybody what you're doing. Because under pressure, these people do break. Because they love you and they think they're helping you. And in real fact that they're just ratting you out. But don't tell anybody anything of any sort. Don't say to anybody that you're leaving. Don't say anything. Because you don't want to set off that red flag saying, oh, I'm going to be doing something. You don't want that, correct? The only way to vanish is to actually vanish. You can't phone home. You can't phone your sister. You can't phone your brother. You can't phone old friends. Even when you're lonely, you cannot. You make new friends wherever you are. Your family will always be there. No matter how long it takes, they'll always be there. So keep that in mind. If you don't phone home for a while, just know, no matter what, your family will be there. Um, you could, like, go to a payphone wherever you are and make a collect call, but keep it under, what is it, like 30 seconds or under a minute, and say to your family that you're fine, but you have to go and you'll talk to them later again sometime. And you love them, blah, blah, blah. But keep it short, simple, and do not use your phone or a phone that you work at now or anything. I shouldn't even be telling you this, but yeah. Because everything is traced. A collect call is a little bit harder, especially if you're using just one of those phones on the corner. You know what I mean? So there you are, everybody. This podcast was all about secrets on how to vanish. And vanish without a trace. Not even a police officer, not even a skip tracer will be able to find you, because I just gave you information about skip tracers that's how they look for you. Don't ask me how I know. Just know that the information I gave is 110% legit. It does work. And if you are experiencing some kind of hurt in your life and you need to disappear, follow my advice and you will succeed. So my friends, this is it for another podcast, just for a couple hours. And I am Aphrodity, and you are listening to Pleasure My Libido. Of course you are, all you beautiful and handsome people, you. So, take care. Make sure you follow me. Make sure maybe use some supports this way. These podcasts need supports. I need new equipment because my poor laptop here is going to kaput on me. And yeah, so if you love my podcasts and you want to support my podcasts, do so with my PayPal. It's Aphrodite with a Y 01@gmail.com. And of course, I'm Aphrodite. And I will see you all at 2, so in another 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes. Wow. Yeah, and then I have another show for you. How exciting. And you're not going to want to miss this one. So, thank you for listening. I love you all. And I'll see you soon. Mwah. Peace out. And be good to yourself.